For clarification, I do Ravenguard Raptors. I call them the Autumn Guard. It's my own thing. But unlike Paul, I don't run 18 Centurions. Hello, hello! Welcome to my channel. My name is Brandon Wheeler. I'm a little bit of an indie author and former veteran. I was in the Army. Well, not former veteran, just veteran. Can't talk right because I had like heat stroke, so I have to use like swa something to bite down on to talk right. Moving on from that. If you're familiar at least with visiting my channel at any time before, you know I've gotten in the Warhammer 40k since October 23. So been in it for about a little bit over a year. Started playing last year and gone on from there. I've mostly just done RTTs up to this point, with some mixed success and everything. Like I mentioned in the intro of the video, I do the Ravenguard Raptor inspired chapter because I chose Raptors as my faction because I was listening for Space Marine chapter things, and they said Raptors are like smart and tactical Marines and everything like that. And I'm like, perfect. That's like, that's for me. But I do a fall thing. Originally called them the Autumn Brigade. Now I call them the Autumn Guard. Rebranded last October. But GT, a whole bit different ball game because it's a grand tournament. It's not a casual RTT where people can do meme lists and everything like that. Just try out stuff just for fun. No, a GT people actually take seriously and actually want to do well. So this will be my first time. I signed up for the one at Gigabytes in Marietta. The ticket sold out in 11 minutes. That's how fast they went. But I was going to be like, all right, well, let me just try it out. I was fortunate enough to get one of those tickets, and here we go. So it was the GT was held from May 17th to May 18th in 2025 in Marietta, Georgia at Gigabytes. I'll be showing pictures of what I took, and there'll be some professional pictures that were taken by the tournament organizer, which I will link to in the description. That way you can see all of it and everything like that if you want to go look at all the pictures. For me, though, I'll just show you what I kind of took and the pictures that were specifically that were taken of my army. There was a few. There was several, which were nice. As far as what my list was, this is a 2,000 point thing. Here is my list. I had Kayvann Shrike. I had Gravis Captain with armor. I paired him with 5 heavy intercessors. I had a Librarian with 10 assault intercessors. I had a jump pack chaplain with jump pack intercessors. I put Kayvann with Vanguard vets because that's just normally what I do. So yeah, I kind of copy that with Paul, but they have shields and 1 plasma pistol. The reason why I have missing 1 1 relic shield is because the kit only came with 4 shields. So naturally I thought, well, I just don't have one with a shield. Sure. All right, I had a group of Inceptors, Assault Boaters, 2 Vanguard Veteran squads, 5-man, an Eradicator squad, an Eliminator squad, Invictor Tactical Warsuit, Redemptor Dread, Gladiator Lancer, and a Predator Destructor. Is there anything else I am missing out of that list? From what I can think of, not really. You'll see, you know, everything in the description for what I had. I put everything there. Oh yeah, regular Intercessor squad. Because they were important. I don't know why I keep forgetting them, but again, everything's in the description for what it all entails. I tried to do the thing for the movie maker to put it on screen, but it's kind of difficult to do that. All right, so being first GT, I know things can be taken seriously, and I'm stressing that I just don't want to go 0-5. I just don't want to go 0-5. I just don't want to go 0-5. That was my whole goal, is like not go 0-5. It's like to even just win 1 game would be awesome. Well, I had a couple of tune-up games before the events and everything. Unfortunately, one of those tune-up games was against Tyranids. Because guess what my first match is? That's right, it is Tyranids, is game 1. Now, seemingly my initial game was actually against somebody else, but because they were on a team and the teammates got paired up together, it was like, okay, we need to switch somebody. So they switched me to go versus this other guy. So I was like, oh, okay. So I forgot what I was initially supposed to verse, but then I went to go face Tyranids. So I have a list of the missions that we had. Round 1, the first 3 rounds are all layout 6, I will tell you that. Round 1 was Mission C, which is Linchpin and Fog of War, and the tipping point deployment. So that's what you have for that. Now, as far as what the thing went with against Tyranids and everything like that, it was okay. He brought an invasion fleet. I went against him and everything like that. But the problem was is that I just got hemmed in and I couldn't kill his stuff. Like, I kept trying to do a bunch of dice rolls, and my dice rolls weren't either good or he was doing amazing saves and feel no pains, because Tyranids get that. So between that combination, it did not go well. Of course, my dice not really working are a constant theme. So overall, it was okay, but I got stomped, and the final score, as you can see here, was 93-51. So not a good start, but it's only the first game, so that's okay. It won't get worse from there, right? All right, mission 2, as you can tell, is going to be against Astra Militarum. It's mission N, the Ritual Swift Action Crucible Battle. Now, I've only played 2 ritual missions up to this point, so it's going to be interesting how that all entails. But what happened during the mission of ritual and everything? Well, against Astra Militarum, things were going well, but I didn't really do anything in his backstone. I did one thing with Inceptors, sacrificing them, which is going to be a constant theme, to get some points. I did well at some things. There was a chance, I feel like, going forward. More so in the first game against Tyranids. I feel like there was a way, but all his feel no pain stopped everything. Astra Militarum did pretty well, but my dice just kept failing me in certain things, and the score was thusly 82-71. Unfortunate how that goes, but at least that was a better scoring game than my first one. And it was a lot closer comparatively against that. He had a few tanks as a combined regiment and everything. Awesome opponent, and I will say this guy that I versed won the most favorite opponent award, because everyone voted him out of everything, because you could vote who your most favorite opponent is and everything, and he won it, and I was thinking, yeah, I could see why. But it was just like, alrighty, so my dice are kind of failing me. I'm getting a little bit demoralized, and hopefully I'm 0-2. Hopefully I get a third round where it's like, okay, I'm not going to get completely thrashed or anything like that, because it'll just be demoralizing if that was the case. And then I see my next opponent is Space Wolves. Alright, so against Space Wolves, it's Mission L, Take and Hold, Hidden Supplies, Search and Destroy. Now, I've had a little bit of experience with Space Wolves, playing them before, so I know they hit very hard in melee. This is where my dice just went, I guess because Space Wolves are from a cold planet, went very cold. I just needed, 3s to hit and 3s to wound these things that were toughness, nothing compared to my dread. I just needed 3s. Heck, I just needed 2s in some cases to fight and destroy some things. Kept rolling 1s and 2s when I just needed 3s, or 1s when I needed 2s, and dice were just so bad. It was about round 3, and then into round 4, and no, literally after round 3, I was just kind of so demoralized with my dice, and then we got into round 4, and I was like, let's just talk it out, man. It's late. We have to be back on the next day. We just talked it out, and the score was thusly 100-48. It was bad. I got home before 8 o'clock, so that's nice, because the game ended so early. But I was just so demoralized and everything. It's just like, that sucked. I forgot to take pictures during the game too, because again, it was late and I was tired and everything. I did take a picture of his Space Wolf thing later on. I have no clue what that Santa Say thing is or anything like that. So it was interesting, stuff like that. Also, side note, I'm going to time out and everything, because you see how people's armies are before and everything. Someone explained what this was to me when I saw it, but I still can't believe it's an actual real model, even though it's a Titan. What the crap is this? What is this? It's the biggest thing I've seen on the table. I was just like, that's real? there's a big giant bug like that. If I saw that, I'd take a shotgun to it in real life. What the heck is this? It's just like, that is the creepiest thing I've seen. I've seen a lot of Death Guard stuff. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, Death Guard. Going back to that, remember that first guy when I did the January RTT video who crushed me in that game? Oh, yeah, he's part of this tournament, too. The last RTT, which I was not part of in the Giga one in March, he won that RTT perfectly, 100, 100, 100. Well, he's in the top of stuff of this today. How did he do in this? I'll get to all the results at the end. However, he wasn't running Mortarion from what I remember on this list compared to, this picture here that I originally had of Mortarion. That's his. He does have this thing, though. I think that's what, Tallyman or something? I don't know what it is, but he did have that. Alrighty, so round 4. It's a new day. I decided, you know what? I'm 0-3. I know a lot of people were saying, like, hey, just go in the mindset you're going to go in 0-5 and you'll have fun. I accept the 0-5 shenanigans. I was like, all right, probably going to go 0-5. So I'm going to wear my Oreo socks. I have these socks, with Oreos on them and everything, just funny socks. It's like, you know what? I'm going to wear Oreo socks. And I wore those to the tournament for day 2. Surely that would, increase my chances of making everything better. Well, would you know it? Round 4, guess who my first opponent is again? That's right, it's Tyranids again, and it's Mission P, Scorched Earth, Inspired Leadership, Crucible Battle. It's layout 8 in this, so that's like a thing. Now, as a pro quo, in this game, we did find out we played it a little bit wrong with Scorched Earth. You're only supposed to scorch 1 objective per turn, as opposed to 2, which is what my opponent did. But as long as you're playing something incorrectly wrong, and it's at least consistent, then it's still good. I mean, just as a thing of point, because it would have changed how the game was played, but it was just kind of like, well, if you or I did the same thing and we found afterwards, like, okay, as long as we played it wrong, incorrectly, that's fine. But going back is like, well, there's nothing we could do about it now because we found it out after the fact. And it's like, oh, okay. But it was Scorched Earth against Tyranids, also another invasion fleet, and his list was very similar to how I versed the first guy. Only he had far more gargoyles, comparably. So I was thinking, okay, oh goodness, I'm going to get hemmed in again and stuff, because that's the thing that happens. But, so he has like a bunch of, all the Gnots and whatever else they are, charging all my stuff and everything. He basically wipes out my jump pack intercessors in one go, but the Chaplain lived. And I'm mentioning that because of a very important detail. My Chaplain lived and knocked a few guys. He's still trying to, go after my Gladiator and Predator because his Northern Emissary targets, their main target as the Gladiator, not the middle objective. I'm like, interesting. He gets to a head point because, again, we mentioned we did it wrong. The Scorched Earth, he scorches 2 of the objectives, from 2 to 3, and I couldn't do anything to stop it even though I tried, but that's just what happened. I was like, okay. He tried attacking my Inceptors with a bunch of gargoyles, though, and Inceptors, even without the Oath of Moment, they, I fall in love with the Inceptors because all the Sustain 2 stuff, because I at least get 1/6 seemingly every time when I shoot them, and it's been very effective. It's just 3 guys. Side note, I dropped my Inceptor the first day, and I get them on these magnets and everything that I bought from Baron Magnets because I don't like the flight stands, but I put them on wrong, and it's just a hassle. I may have to get something else or figure out a different thing because I'm not doing well with them, keep falling off. Also had another casualty because I dropped my Sternguard sergeant, and his flag, it stayed on, but after the second game it fell off, and it was like, oh, that's apropos. But interesting, during the second game when he picked it up, that's when the flag fell off because he died. And I'm like, oh, well, how apropos is that? That's the second game, but we're not there yet. Still back to this Tyranid game. So he's trying to go after my home base because all he has is his home detachment and my other thing I have on the other side because it's like a Crucible Battle. But fortunately, I have a buttload of stuff on that other side objective. And I'm just holding it that entire time with the Invictor suit, Sternguards, and my Eliminators. And then I get all my Assault Intercessors with a Librarian up, and they charge it like the Tyrannifex thing. And I'm able to take the Tyrannifex thing, kill it, and knock it down, which is like, good. But he's trying to get my home objective and my Dread, my Captain with heavy intercessors and the regular intercessors are trying their best to hold it. Eradicators, I keep trying and they just keep failing to kill anything. So, but he's trying to take my home objective. He is trying so hard to take my home objective and he just can't do it. I mean, he's able to kill things, but I'm able to hold him off and kill the stuff that's there to prevent him from taking it and scoring it. So, but the big thing is, that was interesting with the whole thing is my chaplain starts coming in and attacking different stuff, and he's just tanking and killing everything, and he's on 1 wound. It's like, oh yeah, exhortation of rage ability. Pops off and gets mortal wounds. Not every time, but he pops off and gets mortal wounds, and he's just knocking things down and killing stuff. It's just like, okay, my chaplain's the MVP of this game. He does die in an Overwatch. He has to Overwatch him to kill the chaplain because he just is like, this chaplain's causing me problems. I'm like, yeah, good. But Kayvann dies early in that game. But the other thing that happens is that he draws 2 cards. He draws Area Denial and Assassination. The only characters I have left on the board is my Librarian, and because he burned the middle objective and he doesn't have anyone there, in order to get Assassination and Area Denial, he has to take out my Assault Intercessors and Librarian right there. And the only thing he has over there is these, like, brain bug things, whatever those things are. Because I am just close enough into the middle to prevent him scoring Area Denial. And he fails to kill the group. And fails also to kill the Librarian and to get me away from the middle. So I prevent him from scoring those points. And I draw my next cards, I get engaged on all fronts, and storm hostile objective. And that's easy. He does take my home objective, but his Swarm Lord or whatever it was only has like 3 OC. My Dread has 4. I take him, I put him there. Game over. So I won by 4 points. I don't go 0-5. Yay! Now, the most clutch thing of this game, though, actually, that was probably the most determining factor. He used the, like, Shadow in the Warp thing. Battle shock pretty much my entire army except 3 things. My Assault Intercessors and Librarian were huddled in a corner. My regular Intercessors on my home deployment and my Inceptors were not battle shocked. So because I had recover assets for 1 turn and I put them in those zones that they needed to do recover assets, and that scores on my turn and he couldn't stop it, that's why I got those 6 points. And I feel like even though I won by 4 points, but that 6-point thing from recover assets really changed up the game, because that battle shock thing sucked. And it hurt bad to not have that. Oh yeah, my Invictor suit was not battle shocked as well, and that's how I was able to score those points on that turn, because the Eliminators, everything was battle shocked, except the few things that I needed that were not, that passed everything, which was great. So that was still a close game, but fortunately, yay, didn't lose. So that was great. But, Death Guard, that guy I versed, he's at the top tables and everything, but Death Guard was always an intimidating type army. I've had a lot of experience playing it now. I've versed, a couple guys with Death Guard stuff, so I had a different flavor of how to fight Death Guard and everything. Still don't like playing them, especially with the new Death Guard stuff, because the new codex and everything comes out, so I was hoping not to at least play Death Guard or anything. So yeah, last round is Death Guard. It's Linchpin, Banners, Search and Destroy. Mission J for this one. So, Death Guard, new Death Guard. Oh boy, the guy was, he's kind of running the new Death Guard and everything. And I've talked to this guy all throughout the day, so I was like, oh, interesting, I was playing. I thought I was going to verse the Tau guy that I usually play with, or something like that. I was like, if I play again. But no, it wasn't Tau. I was versing Death Guard. So I was like, all right, Death Guard and Tau seem to be like my 2 nemesises with my army, it feels like. But versing Death Guard again. Here we go. What happens? Well, it was a very back and forth thing, but it being Linchpin, it was harder to try to keep everything going. But he took over a lot of stuff on the board, but I was able to shoot it down and everything like that. Kayvann was able to do stuff. He didn't exactly know how to do the new Death Guard things. He was still learning kind of how to do it. But it was still, Death Guard's always tough. But the clutch play, I know I mentioned the clutch play in the last one, but also involving this with the Inceptors. The Inceptors, he had his home objective open. I saw there was enough space to get the Inceptors in because they have a 6-inch deep strike stuff. And he was trying to prevent the Inceptors coming in, but they had a 6-inch deep strike because normally when you deep strike, you have 9 inches. The Inceptors have 6. So I was able to place them on the home objective, just enough room for them to take over his home objective so he couldn't score, the full linchpin type thing during a turn. So he wouldn't get the full 8 during the turn. He just got 3 points for that secondary objective that he had on the side. Because the middle objective, we kept trading back and forth. And so sometimes someone held it, sometimes no one held it. But the Inceptor's going in and taking away his home objective. And I was trying to decide, do I want to shoot Tallyman? Because if I destroy Tallyman, I destroy his ability to get an extra CP at the beginning or whatever. I decided because I had established Locus and I couldn't kill certain things, I was like, I'll go for the 4 points. I established Locus in his deployment zone. And that turns out to be the winning factor of the game. That 71-67 thing was very close. Yes, I could get Defend Stronghold and no prisoners, as you see at the end. Oh, no, wait. He did that, as you see at the end. I had Bring It Down and Mark for Death, but I didn't even need to do anything because that 4 points was the difference. And I just was moving my Intercessor squad to the other side to raise another banner just because I knew I could do it. So that's why it's supposed to 70-67, 71-67. I decided not to even do my next 2 cards because it didn't really make much difference of how that would work. So me preventing him scoring is what really made the difference. So me doing secondary was awesome. So overall, I go 2-3, which is good. I feel bad for my opponents because they both went 0-5, which sucks. That was what I didn't want to have happen, so they went 0-5. Now, there were, between day 2, 4 people that dropped. So even though they have higher victory points than all the people, who lost and everything like that, I feel like, well, because you didn't play all 5 games, I don't feel like you should technically get ahead or anything like that. I feel like if you play 5 games, you should be ahead victory point-wise. I know it's not how it works, but that's kind of how I feel. So it says I got 30th place on the thing. No, the placing I got in the tournament was 31st. Technically, with a person who dropped ahead of me, because one person was ahead of me in points. I don't know. Again, not getting the reasons why people drop because people might be tired or whatever. So technically, I would be 30th place, but by placing is 31st. So going 2-3 in a GT, I know that's good. Great. Getting into results first, I'll just highlight the top 10 because I know that's what more people would care about. I was originally going to do the top 5, but I want to highlight the top 10 because the person who came in 10th was actually a last-minute addition. Someone dropped right before the tournament could happen, so they contacted the waitlist, and this guy came in on the waitlist. And that was Deathwatch. Deathwatch came in 10th place. 9th place was, you can see the results in the BCP in the link, but I'm just highlighting them. 9th place, Chaos Demons. 8th place, Asher Militarum. 7th place, Chaos Demons. 6th place, Death Guard. 5th place, Necrons. The Necrons player came with like 3 obelisks for his list. Yes, it's like those 3 obelisk things, and it was like, okay, that's what he's bringing. 4th place, Imperial Knights. Now, 3rd place, Imperial Knights. 2nd place, Blood Angels, and 1st place, again, was that Death Guard guy. That guy I versed first round of that January TT. He's one of the top Death Guard players of the area or nation. I don't know what. But, here's his scores for his rounds. 93, 96, 100, 95, 100. And because they did a tiebreaker round to prevent one from going they couldn't have like 2 5-0. They wanted one, undefeated champion so they had to play a shadow round. There was 2 people that were still 5-0 at the end, so they played a shadow round to do like an undefeated thing, and he won that too. Again, 100 points. He had total 584. Second place had 446 as far as victory points. If you take away his 100 points, he still had more than the other guy, unfortunately. Not saying that Blood Angels didn't play well. He did. He got second place. It's just that Death Guard guy, he wasn't even running Mortarion. It's just, he knows his stuff. I mean, you can't be a top player without doing anything, and he does. He knows his stuff. All right, as far as how I feel I did overall during the tournament. Again, dice rolls during that first day sucked. They were better during that second game. First game were okay. Third game, terrible against Space Wolves. It was absolutely just terrible how my rolls were. I feel I did okay. There was a couple question marks with everything. The biggest question marks for me list-wise was my Eradicators. I'm not getting... I usually tell what I do for strategy. I have 3 strategic reserve teams. The 2 Sternguard and the Eradicators, and I bring in now the Inceptors for Deep Strike. The reason why I do that is because bringing the Sternguard in from the sides, I could just oath a moment something there on the side or whatever. I could basically devastate, wound, nuke you to death with a Sternguard. I love my Sternguard for that reason. Thinking about it, I can get a 3rd Sternguard. But the Eradicators are normally used to try to fight vehicles and monsters and stuff. And yes, they can plink wounds, but most of the time, I'm not getting that. Even though with the rerolls and everything, I'm not getting a full thing like I want it to do. I'm not saying I'm going to, just bleed throughout the Eradicators. It's just kind of the list thing that I'm doing. It's just not really working as well as what I would want it to, unfortunately. So I'm thinking, what else could I put? And the biggest thing was the Eliminators. The Space Wolves guy, getting back to that game, he got to deploy first, and he blocked me out, actually, with the deployment on my side, because of Search and Destroy on the left-hand side, he blocks me out from that end by putting scouts there. So I couldn't put anything there, so I put my Eliminators in the middle, because it was like it wasn't Search and Destroy, but it was, or maybe it was, but it had like the extra objective, whatever it was, and it was just, Eliminators didn't really do much besides being action monkeys. They were better during the 2 games of the other day, because they got me a lot of points just being action monkey stuff. But I feel like Eliminators, it just feels... A couple times I've actually gotten to kill a character, but during the game, I just had them like shoot, move. Nothing made any wounds. I'm thinking maybe taking my Intercessors, because it's 85 points versus 80 points. I think the Intercessors might have a better value system, being able to get those shoot-off buffs and everything, even if they don't wound it, just a hit roll, shooting against it and everything might be better, plus their scout ability. The only thing is the main reason I like the Eliminators is because I can shoot them and I can move them. Whereas if I had enough points, I'd have to take an enhancement to do the shoot-move thing, like put on my Phobos Librarian or anything like that. But them having that inherently, don't even need that. So I'm thinking maybe running Intercessors or something there. But as far as the Eradicators, if I run something different for the Eradicators, I don't really have a lot of items. And I'm not going to just buy every single little thing out there, just to try to make myself better. Like, I'll get into that in a moment. So I have Infernus Marines, I could run them, or I could keep the Eliminators and run Intercessors instead, and that'd give me 20 points that I could maybe slap on for an attachment. Or I can put in another character like my Phobos Librarian, but if I put him with Intercessors, they don't get the Scout. He does give him Lone Up, but he doesn't get the Scout. But it would, if I put him with the Eliminators, that could add to some things or whatever that could be useful. But I don't know, I have ideas of what I could do. Playing against the meta, why do I play Ravenguard thing? I know people, like the Space Wolves guy I played, he had 2 Vindicators. Basically, I know if you, outside the, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, stuff like that, if you're going to run Marines, most of the time you're just running Space Marine, Ultramarine stuff. Gilliman, Magnus Galgar, sometimes Hero Ventress, Vindicators. I have decided, out of principle, I'm never going to get Gilliman. And I'm not going to run Ultramarines. Heck, I may not even run Gladiator Task Force. There might be times I might, but I like my Vanguard Spearhead -1 detachment strat to your shooting, because the Vanguard Spearhead is the detachment I run, and it's -1 to your hitting outside 12, and I get benefit of cover. That comes in more clutch than what you think. It doesn't really do anything that's melee armies like Space Wolves, but it does come in clutch at different times. But the Vindicators, could I get one? Yeah, but almost I don't want to get one just because of just like, oh, it's the meta thing right now, just put that in and everything. It's like, there's lists out there running 2 and 3 of them. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Not really. I will run my Ravenguard stuff, maybe when Corax comes out, because it seems like that's going to be a thing. I'll run Corax, but I'm not going to get Gilliman. I have a better chance of running Dark Angels, because I actually like the aesthetic more than I do just Ultramarine. So, no. Now, I'm not going to run 18 Centurions, though. I don't even know if I'm ever going to even get Centurions. But, nonetheless, let Paul be his thing with the Centurions. That's the whole reason I got involved with that, because I saw his video said, like, oh, Ravenguard thing. I'm like, oh, I'm a Ravenguard player. I'll watch that. And that's why I've been following and watching him and see his stuff, because Ravenguard, cool. When I say I base my stuff off the Raptors, people are like, oh, that's awesome. I like Raptors. And I'm like, cool, I barely know anything about the lore, but I guess I stumbled onto something good. As the thumb thing comes up, cool. So, oh yeah, big thing is also during the 4th match, my tape measure broke. During the thing, it just snapped. The thing just wore inside, so I was like, well, I gotta get a new tape measure, so I bought one from the store there. Sorry for this rambling video and everything like that, but that's just how I talk and do things and everything. Hopefully I do better in the next thing. The next RTT I have is like in June with Hobbytown. We'll see how that goes. They're actually going to do a 2,000 point list, so it's going to be 2 games per day. So it's not 3. So it'll be 4, but it'll be interesting. This is also on the time limit stuff, but oh yeah, as far as the time limit thing being on 3 hours, it wasn't really that bad. You could do a 2,000 point game in 3 hours. It's easily done. It is. It's absolutely easily done. I only heard of one opponent during the first round on the first day. I heard it from a guy talk with and stuff. He said his opponent timed out because he didn't have enough time to move everything like that. But I mean, most of the time people aren't going to normally time out. Like there's a guy who brought like 150 orcs. I'm not exaggerating. He had like an army of like 150 models of just like infantry orcs. He had like 1 truck in the entire list. I didn't hear if he timed out or anything, but he was having fun. I mean, you had the dudes doing that, then you had the 3 obelisks, and then you had this big giant Tyranid thing. I don't know what else you're going to do. So enjoy these pictures I have at the end of my matches, again, and of everything else I took pictures of. Again, link of all the pictures of the stuff will be in the description, along with the BCP results. Thank you again to Gigabytes and for the tournament organizer, Chris, for organizing this GT and everything like that. I hope I did at least the Vanguard, Ravenguard community who run Vanguard Spearhead detachment proud by going 2 and 3, because I know that it's not as popular. I know people do run it, that and Ironstorm, but it's not really the thing people are going to run because Gladius Task Force is the thing. But I don't know, with the new data slate that's supposed to come out, I guess in 2 weeks, maybe, it's definitely going to change how everything runs, especially with the new asymmetric missions and all that. But we'll see what happens. So excited. I hope I get better in some things, but I hope my stuff that's going to get nuked doesn't get nuked bad. Like I think my Invictor suit's probably going to go up again, and that might change stuff. So, all right. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.